Hey everybody, my name is Eola, personal trainer here at Fox Fitness. Today we are at the Eola Center. I wanted to introduce myself and kind of introduce what we're doing today. This is the new multi-purpose training rig that we have here at Eola. So today I want to show you guys a couple of the new functions that you can do, some exercises that we can do with this rig in total. We'll work with some of the ropes, we'll do some of the landmine bar here that we've got, and then a lot of stuff with the TRX cables. So stay tuned and I'll show you guys around some of the new stuff we've got going on. Alright, so with the TRX cable here, this usually is going to be hooked up. If it's not here, just ask behind the desk for the cable. They can get it for you. Once it's hooked in here, you can adjust the cables on both ends through these clips right here. So if you hold the teeth out and pull, you'll notice it lengthens up here on this side, and then we can do the same thing on the other side, bring it down. You're going to use these pull tabs as a way to kind of measure how even they are. You want to try to keep them as even as possible. These here are going to be your little IQs. This is about medium length. You bring them up here to a shorter length, so I'll show you. You pull this tab and hold it up while you pull on the yellow tab. So right now we have it at medium. We'll do the same on the other side. Right about medium, right about there. Make sure that these are really even. That means you've got a nice even cable here. Pull it up even further to make it shorter. And same thing, everything's even. You've got the two tabs here to make sure that everything looks good. And from this position, there's a multitude of different workouts we can do, and every length has different style of workouts that we'll get into. That's pretty much how you function with these, how these work. And from there, you can get started with your workout. All right, so we're gonna do some core and ab stuff today. So I wanna show you guys the first thing. If the cables are not adjusted properly, what you're gonna have to do is lower the handles about mid-calf, okay? So I'll do that on one side here. You're gonna pull the tabs here. We'll do both at the same time and then just adjust if we need to. So from here, I'll kind of check, that's about mid-calf, that's not bad. So from this position here, we'll go ahead and lay down. Now a little trick to get these in your feet if you don't have a partner or somebody to help you with. What you're going to do is bring your feet together here. You're going to put the leaves on your foot like this. Once you're ready to go, you're going to put some tension on the bottom, and then you're going to rotate just like this. From this position, you're good to go. Make sure your feet are nice and even. And from here, you have your typical plank. You just hold it for a couple seconds. You can have your arms out. You can keep your arms down here on your forearms, and you hold it for a typical plank that you would without the cables. This position is a really good core exercise, making sure that your core is nice and tight, your abs are engaged, and you're good to go. Another ab workout here. Lift yourself back up. You're going to stand on your hands and you're going to do a crunch by squeezing your knees to your chest just like this. Do a couple reps of these and you'll feel a really good ab workout by the end of it. Just like that. When you're done, just lower yourself to your knees, lift your feet up, and you're good to go. So the next one we're going to do is a push-up. And just like the planks, what we're going to do is lower these to our mid-calves because we're going to need to get our feet through them. So I'll lower this. See if that's about mid-calf. For me, that looks good. So I'm going to do that trick again. Remember, everything ready. You're going to bring your feet in. Get these up. Through your legs like that, through your feet. And then rotate through. Now with your feet elevated, makes the push-up a little bit more trickier. And you're just going to go down like a standard push-up. Make sure everything's nice and straight. You're going to go down, try to go as low as you can, and come back up, just like this. Elbows go straight back. Contract all the way through your chest. Do as many as you can. When you're done, bend at the knees, lift your feet up, and you're good to go. So for the next exercise, we're going to do a chest press. So for this, you're going to keep the cable fully lengthened. You're going to stand behind it here. You're going to be facing away from the cables. You're going to grab them right here just like this. What you want to do is make sure that you're properly aligned, everything's straight like a plank position. The only part that's going to be mobile are going to be your elbows and your shoulders. So it's just going to look like a standard push-up, chest press, kind of like a bench, but you're using the cables, and your body weight is the momentum that's pushing you forward that you got to contract. So it's going to look something like this. You're going to go down, keep yourself nice and straight, press back up, just like that. Make sure you're contracting your pectorals, your chest muscles, just like this. Squeeze them together, and all the force is going through your palms. Now, if you need to make it a little bit easier, just take a little step further away from the cable, from the rig, and it makes it a little bit easier, slightly easier for you. If you need more challenging, more difficult, take a step further down. Make sure you're still keeping yourself nice and straight, like a plank position. And now you have more range of motion and more of a contraction, just like this. And that's the chest press. So for the next exercise, we're gonna do hamstring curls. For these, you wanna lower the cables to about mid-calf, like we did earlier with the planks. From this position, once they're in, you're ready to go. You're gonna go ahead and face the rig. And this time, you put the cables on your foot. You're gonna put them on the back of your heels like this, and now they're ready to go. From this position, arms out, you're gonna lift your hips up and bring your legs towards you, just like this. This is gonna be a big, nice contraction in the hamstrings, and it really helps to isolate them too. Just keep everything nice and controlled, just like that. To modify this exercise to make it a little bit easier, drop the hips, keep everything flat on the floor, and just drive your knees up like this. You'll still get a contraction and a nice stretch. And from this, hopefully, you can work your way up to having your hips above the ground like this. Like that. And when you're ready, just lift up your legs, and you're good to go. So the next one we're going to do is, it's going to be a front squat. So what we're going to need to do is lengthen these all the way through, just like this, pretty good. Make sure everything's even. You're going to step on the inside, and now you're going to face away from the rig. You're going to grab the handles. You're going to extend out so that your arms are bent at the elbows, tucked in here all the way. Feet about hip width apart. They're going to be behind you. Everything's going to be nice and straight, and all you're going to do is you're going to do a normal squat, but make sure that your feet stay flat on the ground. Don't bring them up from the heels or from the toes, just keep them nice and flat the entire time. And then you're going to squat down just like this. Go as low as you can, drive back up. If you need to, it actually makes it a little bit easier, stepping a little bit underneath the rig. Down, up. Make sure you keep those hands tucked in, those arms tucked in on your sides. And you're driving through. Just like that. That's the front squat. So the next one we're going to do is a tricep extension. So the first thing you're going to want to do is bring up the cable to about mid-length, so right at these two little dashes. So pull on the teeth here, pull on the yellow tab to about mid-length. Same thing with this side. About mid-length there, make sure everything is nice and even, and you're good. From here, you're going to step on the inside of it like this, facing away from the rig. You're going to hold this bands out like this. Hands a little bit out in front of you this time, a little bit more. And all you're going to do is bend at the elbows, okay? So you're going to work all the triceps. Those are the only things contracting. And you're going to come back to the start. Just like this. Now to make it a little bit easier, if you're struggling with it, take a little step forward, and now it makes the movement a little bit easier, less body weight for the contraction. If you need more of a challenge, take a nice step back. Make sure you're keeping your body nice and straight. That back is, everything is straight. The only movement is here, bending at the elbows, going down to your head, come back. If you can go past your head, go ahead and go past, all the way through, just like that. By the end of it, you'll feel a nice contraction in your triceps. So now we're going to do an exercise. It's just a bicep curl, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is bring these down to about that mid-length. So go ahead and shorten them up, right about there. Just like that. Make sure everything's nice and even. You're going to grab the cables. You're going to face the rig this time again. And as always, make sure everything is nice and straight. Your palms are going to be facing up. You're just going to do a standard curl using all of your body weight, just like that. And right now, the only thing that should be contracting are your biceps. Again, to make it a little bit easier, you can take a small step out further, It makes the contraction a little bit lighter, a little bit easier for you. If you need to make it a little bit more trickier and difficult, take a nice step underneath. Now there's more weight to pull, making the bicep curl a little bit more challenging. Just like that. And you're good to go. So the next one we're gonna do is a squat with the TRX cables. So you're gonna adjust these to mid-length, just like they already are. You're gonna grab them and you're gonna pull back facing the rig. You want your arms bent, your elbows bent at 90 degrees to your sides from this for the start position, okay? Your feet are gonna be about hip width apart, just like so. And you're gonna do a standard squat. When you do the squat, don't extend the arms. You're just gonna lift up, keeping that 90-degree angle here at your elbows. You'll see in a minute, just like this. Just like that. Standard squat, come back up. Make sure you're driving through with your knees back to your feet. Just like that. To make it a little bit more difficult, you can take a step in. And now you have less support from the cables until you start bending down. And then you come back up, just like this. Face forward, make sure that back's nice and straight. You're gonna contract your glutes, your hamstrings, and your quads up at the end, just like that. The next one we're gonna do is a step back lunge. So you're gonna have to crank these up to mid-length. So go ahead and bring them up. Right there. About there. You're going to take a step back here. Now make sure to start, your arms are tucked in, elbows bent like this. Feet together, and just like it says in the exercise, a step back lunge, you're going to take one leg, step back, come back up. Switch legs, just like this. And what this helps to do with the support of the cables is make sure you're balanced and you're driving through with that front leg. The contraction's all going to be the leg that's in front of you. The one that goes back is going to be what keeps your balance and supports. Just like this. There you go. And if you step back a little bit, it kind of helps with making it a little bit easier. Your arms have to extend out a little bit more. And then if you take a step in, you have less support as you step back for the lunge, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. But nonetheless, that's the back squat, the back lunge. So the next one we're going to do is the low row. So the first thing you're going to want to do is shorten up the cables as short as they can up to this part. So we'll go ahead and adjust them up. Right about there. We do the same with the other side. Make sure they're nice and even. Just like this. Depending on your height, you can go a little bit more too. I'm just going to go a little bit higher, just a tad. Still making sure that they're nice and even here. Here we go. So what you're going to do now is you're going to face the rig, because what we're going to do is pull ourselves and do all back. So you're going to keep your body in that straight plank position. You're going to extend your arms. And all you're going to do is pull yourself up, just like this. Drive the elbows back. Keep everything nice and straight. And you should feel the contraction all in your back. Try to minimize the contraction of your biceps and maximize all of it on the back. To make it a little bit more difficult, step a little bit closer, being a little bit more underneath the rig, make sure everything is still nice and straight. And go ahead and pull all the way through. Just like that. When you're done, you reset, and you're good to go. So for the next one, it's an inverted row. So what we need to do is make this as short as possible and over short it as well. So the way you do that is make sure that this is up all the way on both sides. Then what you're going to want to do is grab just one part of the loop, the outside, and you're going to want to pull even more right until you see that middle indicator that we have here. You're going to leave that alone and grab the next one and do the same thing. Over shorten it up here. Right there's that double line. So now you're good. This is real nice and short. For the inverted row now, what we're going to do is we're going to face the rig again, but you're going to get as low as you can all the way through. You're going to dip down like this, right about here. You're going to keep your knees bent for support, keep your back nice and straight, and you're pulling up, just like this. Do a couple reps of these. It's all back muscle contractions. Try to minimize your bicep contractions. When you're all done, hold yourself down, start standing back up, and you're good. So for this, these are the battle ropes. You guys have probably seen these before. You've probably seen people use these at some point in time. These are a really great cardio exercise. This works a lot of upper body, but honestly, it engages everything when you do it right. So to do the standard alternating battle ropes, what you're gonna do is start with is extend them out, and then take a small step forward. From here, you have a little bit of slack to work with. From this point, you're gonna bend your knees, keep your back nice and straight, keep your arms out in front of you, and you're gonna alternate each one like this. Keep it nice and controlled. You want to look for that helix, that almost DNA looking pattern in the ropes. Just like this. It's a bit of a whipping motion, and that's kind of what you're going for. Just like that. And don't be afraid. If the floor here is empty and there's no one using it, go ahead and extend out the ropes here to this side of the room. This is where you can do your battle ropes. So this part of the rig here is where the landmine is. And what this is essentially is right here is an attachment of the rig. It's like a joint. And what this allows you to do is insert a standard barbell. And from here, there's a bunch of different exercises we can do. Basically, you'd attach a weight, a plate, I should say, to this end here, where we got some of the plates here. And then from there, there's a lot of different types of lifts, from lower body to even upper body, that we can do. Typically, here at Eola, this will always be here as far as the bar, but if it's not, just ask somebody. And then from there, you can go and grab any standard plates from out on the fitness floor, attach them, and do your exercises that way. So for what we're going to do today is a T-bar row. So this attachment is typically out on the fitness floor where the cables are, but you can go ahead and grab this, bring it out here. When you have a weight that you like attached to the bar, slid in from the front here, what you're going to do, you're going to step over the bar like this. You're going to put this attachment underneath, and it's going to get placed all the way up in front. From here, you're going to grab it with both arms. Make sure your feet are shoulder width apart. You're going to bend down, and when you're ready, go ahead and lift it up. From this position, stay a little bit bent forward, and you're going to drive the elbows back. This is going to be a lat workout right here, a back exercise. Just like this. Make sure that you're bent, you're hinged at the hips, keeping the rest of your back straight. Drive the elbows back, keep your feet flat on the floor, and when you're done, go ahead and place it down. You're good. That's the T-bar row. So the next one we'll do is with the bar here is a deadlift. Now, doing a deadlift this way is a really good way to get started with deadlifts. If you're a beginner or you're just trying to work on your form, this is a really good start. You want to practice working on your hinge, not so much a squat when you dip your butt down. So the way you'll start is standing in front of the bar, just like this. You're going to grab the bar with both hands. They don't have to be right on top of each other, just keep them close. From this position, make sure you're ready to go. You're hinged at the hips, your back's nice and straight. You're going to drive up, and when you get to the top, you're going to do a slight thrust forward, making sure that your glutes are contracting, okay? Go back down, reset, come up. Just like that. You're going to feel the contraction at the top with your glutes. Just like that. And that's a good way to practice the deadlift. Make sure your feet are flat on the ground as well. There you go.